Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. My name is Randy.
And I'm the candy ass, Doug.
Oh, man, that got close.
That was really scary.
We are the world's strongest under the heavens duo here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, how are you doing? What's new with you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm getting back into Animal Crossing. I don't know if anyone else is playing that, but it just got mentioned one day, and I was like, yeah, let me check it out. And now I'm like wrapped up into it, trying to make it like a Japanese town, and it's going horribly, but still fun.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I think it's because there's a big update announced coming later this month.
They're gonna put in a cafe, which I don't really care about. Like, I just needed something to get back into, to have a creative outlet. And I started looking up YouTube videos for inspiration, and I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. But all of the people on YouTube, they have their Switches modded so that you can zoom out the camera. So it looks great with their zoomed out camera, but then when you play an actual game, it doesn't look as good. And it's disappointing.
Yeah.
And misleading.
Well, still, I hope that you continue to build the best dang little island town you can.
Thank you. It is like a creative outlet for me, so I love that aspect.
I haven't played in a long time. We should get together and I should visit your island.
Yes,
that'll maybe
give me all
excited.
your items, so we need new shit.
Yeah, give you my fruit, give me my whatever color my stuff is. It'll be good times.
I mean, it was 8 months for me. Like, I went back and they're like, you've been gone for 8 months. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. I'm building stuff for you and your fellow villagers, but don't talk to me.
I didn't come back for the friends. I came back because I have a need. Oh, man.
Yeah, what's up with you, man? Anything new?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hanging out, being a big old nerd.
Watching 20 billion shows?
A little bit. I actually got to finish one last night. I had started, my Evangelion rewatch, and I capped it off in a way that I've never done before, and it was pretty fun.
Whenever you say that, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's the English dub, but the Amazon version with Japanese audio. Like, of course you finished it differently. Oh, surprise.
This one is even differenter.
Really? Tell me.
It's a fan edit called The Concurrency of Evangelion, and it is episodes 25 and 26 edited into the end of Evangelion, so that because they're happening simultaneously.
That could be interesting to watch. That I could see.
Yeah.
I could see the merit in watching something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I have some issues, like editing choices, but I'm like, you know what? Overall, I think this is a very cool way to do it, because...
that's just your editor brain, like, knowing you could do something different.
Right. It's not so much a technical thing. It was more on like construction of how the story is being told. And like, I think you should have cut earlier than this before this happened. But whatever. Right. But yeah, it's wild. Oh, and another random thing. I've been rewatching Power Rangers over the last few years.
Like legit Power, like the English, like legit Power Rangers, right?
Yes, legit Saban Power Rangers.
That's tough, man.
I've spent years doing it. It's just very slow going. Like, I'll do a season for a couple of months and then I'll stop, and then I'm like, all right, I'll start the next season like a year later. Mm-hmm. But we were watching Turbo, and Turbo was the last like full season I'd ever seen.
I think me too.
We got to the end of it, and I was like, so that was better than I thought. Also, I desperately want to start In Space right the fuck now.
Really?
I'd only seen the first couple of episodes of In Space, and I've read that everybody loves In Space. I'm like, well, really? I gotta see what that's all about.
That's where I stopped too, and it just felt like space is too much for me. Like, I just got used to the cool ass cars. I don't want to go to space now.
Well, also Tommy's not there anymore. He left partway through Turbo.
Dude, that might have been the big aspect of why a lot of people fell off. Like that.
Yeah. Well, it's very funny. Saban specifically points out the reason why a lot of people fell off and why Power Rangers on a downward slump during Turbo and the beginning of In Space is due to the explosive popularity of Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z in America.
Wow. So, that makes sense.
It's what happened to me. I stopped because I had other shit to watch.
All my shirts went from Power Rangers to Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, like, within a year. Yeah, that totally checks out.
I'm like 8 episodes or so into In Space, and I gotta say, it fucks. I love this so much. It's good. Cool. So excited to see
I'm just looking forward to Lance, seeing if he keeps doing his YouTube videos, comparing the Zoo Rangers and the Power Rangers. That's a great watch.
Oh yeah, I need to check out some more of those. Last I left off, it was the first episode of the Green with Evil, and I'm like, I gotta see more of this.
Yeah, it's interesting how America just like handled that.
Yeah, if you're
Some
not
good
unaware,
choices.
Lance/Mystere Fusion on YouTube, go check that stuff out.
Yeah, check him out. It's high quality like stuff.
Oh,
More
yeah.
than Power Rangers deserves, maybe, but
Well researched and
Yes.
like well edited. Man, good stuff.
yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Power Rangers, unfortunately.
Thank God.
We're here to talk about Dragon Ball Z, and specifically this time, we're going to talk about DBZ Movie 13, Wrath of the Dragon.
The last one.
the last one, kind of. Or Dragon Fist Explosion, and then that's 2 exclamation points. If Goku won't or can't do it, who will?
Oh, is it different depending on what translator you ask?
So Kanzenshu listed as won't do it, but like the movie that we watched, the subtitles, I believe it's Steve Simmons, says can't do it. So
Goku can't do it.
it's interesting to say that Goku would refuse a fight, but unable to is a different thing.
Right. Yeah, there's a very different meaning for both those 2 words. So that's something to dissect. Maybe we can talk about that later.
Yeah, I would love to. But I first want to hear, Doug, what is this movie about?
Goku and friends are tricked into using the Dragon Balls to release Tapion, who contains the demon Hildegarn within himself. Hildegarn eventually escapes and begins to destroy everything around him. Tapion tries to harness the demon, but it's of no use. Can anyone but Goku defeat the demon and restore peace?
Who knows? I mean,
Yeah, who
we do
knows?
because we watched the movie. But for some context, this movie came out July 15th, 1995. If you're playing at home, this is took place episode 2 after episode 270, which is again 12 episodes after our last film.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
it. These are on a fast pace. It was always spring, then summer, and then nothing until spring again. So this is our summer movie. Episode 270 is Vegito is wiping the floor with Boo, and hasn't yet been turned into candy, which I believe is the next episode after that.
So he's like, I was gonna say, so he's Super Vegito, but oh no, yeah, in the anime he doesn't go Super Vegito for like a whole episode
Right, and I can't remember if 270 he's transformed yet or not.
because he's
but
kicking his ass in both. So
yeah, it's great.
yeah,
This movie was directed by Mitsuo Hashimoto. He was the director of the Bardock special in movies 4 and 5.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's why it looks so beautiful and such good framing and just man, so good. But let's go over it. What happens here, Doug? We've got kind of like a cold open of
Yeah, just some random Legend of Zelda characters.
fighting something and getting crushed.
Yeah, it's very much a mystery, and we don't really. It's great that they don't tell us much besides that the little tease of like, what is this? Is this even Dragon Ball? Like, this is so different.
Yeah, this isn't anybody that we know or have seen before. They've got a sword, and
Yeah.
it's cool. And then
We cut to the title, which took me about 2 years to recover from because of the epilepsy.
yeah, it's just flashing black and white screens.
Nothing creative about it. It's just literally the title with like flashing black lights, which I can
Well,
only
then there's-
assume is the Japanese equivalent of the Arial font. So there's nothing fancy about
It's an
it
Adult
either.
Swim bumper, but Japan in the 90s.
Yeah, basically.
Well, then there's the title, and there's like a fiery background. So I guess that's something.
Yeah, but then it opens up with like a robbery taking place, and this is like one of the best shots in this movie, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I mean, what's cool is this movie doesn't have an opening like music at all.
Yeah,
It's just
it never
here's
cuts
the start.
Yeah,
The credits are shown over the screen while the robbery is taking place, and Gohan and Videl are putting a stop to some crime. As
that's always a great touch whenever credits are going through the movie. Like makes it feel like a movie.
yeah,
You know what
it's
I mean?
cinematic as fuck.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Great Saiyaman Mark 1 and Great Saiyaman Mark 2. They're on the scene to stop crime, and Gohan nails his pose, his catchphrase. He's just so proud of himself.
Yeah, he's totally like into it, and I just I love how it's just Mark 1 and Mark 2 in the Japanese version because it just makes sense. Just because culturally, that's I don't know, not culturally. I don't know about the culture that much, but I'm just saying, like, you know, after seeing like Speed Racer and all that kind of stuff, that's just the terminology they use. But it makes sense in the English dub for them to call her say a woman and say a man. You know?
Yeah. Either way, it works completely.
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints there.
Yeah.
Then we see a mysterious shadow in the background of just someone skulking around before then, you know, leaving, giving us more mystery. Like, all right, what's going on here? We had a sword boy, and now we've got some weird old man. What's happening? you had pointed out, well, I mean, it's just the next scene is we're back in high school and Gohan like, oh, sorry, I had to go to the bathroom. And Sharpener's like, we all know you're great Saiyaman. You don't have to keep pretending.
What the shit, man? What's your deal? It's such a cute Gohan moment for that.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, there's another, crisis alert. And Videl just answers her watch out loud in the middle of class. Great Saiyaman, Mark II here. What can I do?
Like there's some grand mystery that people like, yeah, that's so funny. Like maybe they are both trying to like conceal, not her obviously, but
no,
they didn't outspokenly say that Gohan is Great Saiyaman 1, but it's just so obvious to all their classmates. It's hilarious. Yeah, Gohan because he gets up and is like, I gotta go to the bathroom again. It's like, we know where you're going.
Gohan is living out this fantasy that he is a comic book hero, that he is a mysterious second identity that nobody knows about.
He's an actual Zoo Ranger, a Power Ranger, if you say.
Yeah, exactly. The crisis alert is an old man is on top of a tower, and he's going to jump off and kill himself.
It's suicide in Dragon Ball. It's legit.
Videl, though, is like, yeah, okay, jump. Like, I got better shit to do.
I love Vidal's personality, and it's just like, yeah, I got school right now, and you're interrupting it right now. Just jump if you're going to jump.
So he does, because, he wants, he gets rescued.
He wants attention. Yeah, he wants the attention of it.
Because we learned from some people talking down below that the man was on TV the other night.
Yeah, I thought I missed this scene, but apparently that's the only exposition we get is that a guy is like, that guy was on, which I actually kind of like. They're not kind of spoon feeding us it. It's just like exposition by circumstance.
Exactly. It's a good way to keep the plot moving without bogging it down with like, all right, we're gonna give you some exposition and then more exposition later because Gohan saves him and then he fills him in like, okay, so here's the deal. I've got this music box and there's a very like legendary hero stuck inside, but you have to be able to play the music and have the box crank turn.
Yeah.
Gohan can't do it. Despite how strong he is, he could pull a sword out of a ground, but he can't make a music box.
Well, he didn't, get that line closing his eye to go ultimate Gohan, so he didn't use his full power.
Right. He underestimated the power of the music box.
Which I thought was weird. I know we talked about it during the movie, but like how Gohan, I thought the ultimate form was just like kind of permanent, but this movie proves that it's not, because he's in his regular form, that he looks like young Gohan.
Right.
As opposed to ultimate looking Gohan. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know when the first thing that showed up where he goes back and forth between forms, because I know like there's some other stuff, like I think it's in GT or whatever, where he still always has the closed line of his eyes, even if he's like
in Z. From then on, it's always just, even when he's like with his glasses, and when older Trunks visits him, he looks nerdy but still has like the huge bulk physique and the closed eyes. Yeah. I'm
going to have to take a look at the manga because, of course, Toei isn't perfect. Not that Toriyama is either, but,
I'm pretty sure it was that way in the manga, too.
Yeah, like sometimes Vegeta has sleeves when he's not supposed to.
Yeah, they just change it for whatever's convenient to them for the plot.
Right, exactly. So who knows? But they decide that, okay, well, Goku also can't do it, or won't do it. I guess we can't.
If Goku can't do it, who can?
they drop the title. Which is so great. So of course their idea is, well, let's get the Dragon Balls together and we'll have the dragon open the music box.
Right.
Which is also important to note, like, because you had brought up, like, oh, they're just doing this for the fun of it to, like, make this thing happen. I'm like, well, Hoy, the old man, had also pointed out, like, there's a great crisis coming towards Earth. So it's like, well, it's not so selfish. It's also
because it kind of felt like they're just using the Dragon Balls for any old reason now. But it does make sense in this movie for, like, if you had the Dragon Balls at your disposal, why not use them? At this point.
Exactly. So they have a fun time getting them together. There's Krillin in a ghost house.
Oh, yeah.
Goten and Trunks are out in the snow. They build a snowman. They put the Dragon Ball, like, in his hand while they're having a snowball fight. Goku goes to the zoo and has to steal one from a lion. A whole den of them.
Wear him like a hat.
Because he's just gnawing on Goku's head, but of course it's fine.
I do love that they like have fun in these movies, like showing them gathering Dragon Balls. It's a good idea. It's not too deep of a plot, I guess, but it's just nice to throw in like little areas that they can go to. Yeah,
and then after they've got the Dragon Balls together, they of course follow through. They make the wish, and of course, no problem. I can open that bad boy up. It's all good. We get some nice music, and the box shatters, and out comes Tapian. But Hoy's got an evil look in his eye. Now there's this weird shadow coming out of him going
Who could have guessed?
Oh, no. But then again, there's the music, but this time it's not coming from the box.
It's coming from the ocarina.
Yeah, this boy's got an ocarina. He is ready to throw down an impromptu concert.
It's a good song. It's the... Yeah,
it's good. It's a haunting melody. So now Tapion is free, and immediately he's like, "Why am I free? Put me back in."
Yeah.
And of course, like, "Oh, we can't do that." So he's like, "Fine, I'm going." He just leaves. And it's, again, continuing with this whole weird mystery. And turns out that he's holed up in some, I don't know, abandoned power plant or some foundry or something.
Yeah, he's just chilling somewhere off the beaten path.
Yeah. Goten and Trunks, obviously, curious boys that they are, go to see him. And it's like, oh, he's intense, but that's a hero for you.
Yeah. Trunks gets a liking to him, like, forms his brotherly attachment, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Right off the bat, he's very interested. That night, there's like a grill out where everybody's kind of hanging out.
Oh, the barbecue, yeah.
Right. There's two moments in this that I really like, and that's when Roshi is talking about Peachy Peachy gals. He turns towards Videl, and immediately Gohan moves in the way to like get between them.
He knows what to expect from this pervy old man. He's like, no, I gotta protect you from this asshole.
Yep. And then I think one of your favorite little moments.
Oh, when Goku hands the kids the barbecue stick because they're like reaching for it, trying to be all
from
sneaky.
Underneath.
Yeah. And then not only like, I don't even think Goku knows. I think that he just thinks that they wanted it for themselves. But then the fact that they then take that food and take it to Tapion, it's just so heartwarming and just like, oh, what a great moment. Like from Goku, the kids, it's so great.
It definitely feels like one of those couple of families and family friends getting together for like a grill out in the middle of the summer.
This felt like the slice of life kind of portion of the show that I've always wanted.
And then, they take the food to Tapion and they're like, here you go, keep up your strength or whatever. And Trunks obviously just wants to get on his good side because clearly he, likes him.
Yeah.
Looks up to him for whatever, from this mysterious new hero that's there.
Because he's basically him in the future,
Trying to remember what happens immediately after that. Is that when the legs attack?
I think so, which I don't understand how it escaped.
Well, the opening of the movie, I assume Hoy got Minotia, Tapion's younger brother, to fall asleep or something, and he opened his music box somehow. And then, of course, he was no match against it himself, and he got killed. So now Hoy is the one that's in charge of this demon, this phantasm.
Yeah, the whole Hirudegarn thing doesn't really make much sense to me, but the rest of the movie is great.
So the legs attack. Great Saiyaman Mark 1 and 2 are on the scene again. And yeah, it's just a weird, strange, like you said, like Godzilla sort of thing going on of a giant kaiju attacking the city.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for, and they did a good job with it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely different from the last few movies or any of them really to just have this rampaging monster in the middle of town that we gotta stop.
Is fantastic, man. This is just the whole like writing of it is so great, and like the reason characters do things makes sense. Like Tapion, like Trunks bringing Tapion like some food, but Tapion just ignoring him completely. It just makes so much sense with the character. Like, and it's not like Tapion's being emo about it and just like, oh, leave me alone. My life has been hell. And he's just staying quiet. He's just like to himself. Like, I need to not make attachments because I need to be sealed away and all this kind of shit. And these kids won't understand if I tell them, so I'm not even going to bother trying to explain it to them.
Right. He's got quite a weight on his shoulders. And he's doing the best job that he can. And also, once he learns that the legs are out free, it's got to be devastating because that means his little brother's dead.
He knows, yeah.
Yeah, it's oof, man.
And they never really confirm it, but it's just like, it's obvious to him and the audience.
Well, he does have a discussion with Bulma later where he talks about it's like, so if the legs are out there, my little brother is likely dead.
That's what I mean. Like that makes it obvious to us. Right. To him, but there's never a scene of like him dying.
Right. Well, he gets crushed right at the beginning before the title.
Oh, there was a scene of it? I totally missed it then.
Yeah, it's the first like 30 seconds of the movie.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
Totally just flash past that, but they don't show him getting crushed. They just kind of show the ominous like, oh, the foot's coming down, and then cut to black.
the leg is standing there, and then the sword is up front in the frame with nobody holding on to it.
Yeah. I don't know what I was looking at. Then I was just poking my eyes out, I guess.
Right. Yeah, you're like, wow, you're prepared for the oncoming epileptic seizure.
I'll just pretend we never saw it, and I like this rendition of the movie where they don't spoon feed you everything, and,
Well, yeah. At that point, you forgot about it, kind of. So, it's fine. So Gohan and Videl are unable to take down the legs, but they mysteriously disappear all on their own.
Say Gohan and Videl?
Yeah, because Videl's there.
Yeah. You're right. For some reason, I thought you said Bulma and Videl, because I'm thinking about them too, like hanging out in this movie a lot, which they do hang out a lot, unusually, don't they?
They do. They hang out quite a bit. They're like washing dishes together, and I'm like, okay, well, is this after the cookout?
11 p.m. and Videl's not home yet. Like, what's going on? You're
still, and then they're just having like coffee, and I'm like, all right. I mean, it's very cool to have like this dynamic of characters that are. Yeah, they're not like the main characters, but like they're clearly friends and they just hang out. But of course, this is never the focus of the series.
Yeah, you would never get this scene in like Dragon Ball for this amount of time.
Yeah, and like it's clear that they enjoy each other's company. It's late at night, and Bulma lives in West City. Videl lives in Satan City, so like it's a trip. But it's like maybe she's just spending the night. I just like to hang out on the weekends with Bulma.
It feels like they are, I don't know, but it's cool. Like there's like strong, independent women type characters are just hanging out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So now I believe at this point, like Trunks and Tapian kind of start forming that bond together. Hoi shows up and kind of like shows that he is not a good guy because he tells Trunks like, give me that ocarina because that man over there is actually the monster that's been rampaging through town. And of course Tapian's just silent and he's like, just please give it to me. And Trunks throws it to his new big
brother. Yeah, this is a great little moment.
And so then Hoi gets like, well, fuck it, and can't do anything now, and then leaves. And then it's just kind of, this time of like him and Trunks getting along and, figuring stuff out with Bulma and Tapian. I will say, I really like that scene with Tapian in like Trunks' bedroom where Trunks is
calm down. What are you talking about? Finish your sentence first.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just like them hanging out and like Trunks like, look at this toy. I've got this toy. It does this.
I just like Tapian in Trunks' room. I'm like, all right, what are you talking about, right?
I'm talking about when he's showing them all of his toys. He's like, look at this guy. I got this guy. He's from Dr. Slump. And anyway, there's this robot over here. And I got this train thing.
Yeah, and it's cool how the robot like split in half. Like, because toys break like that sometimes. And it was just fantastic foreshadowing for the monster.
Right, because its legs and its body separate. I think when you say in half, I'm like, is it up and down or is it?
No, yeah, just like Hildegard is. But at that moment, I think is when I'm like, this movie was written really well. Mm-hmm. This movie is a movie that I know is going to be fantastic, but it's not one of those movies I would watch over and over again. Yeah. But I can appreciate it for how good it is, Yeah,
there's a lot of really great character moments, and I had brought up, like, it's been a thing in the last few movies that at about the 12-minute mark, we've had enough setup. It's fight time. Yeah. But we didn't have that in this movie.
No, not at all. It takes its time, and it's super awesome.
Yeah, it just enjoys its time with its characters, building its story, building its mystery, and slowly revealing these things. And building these relationships with Trunks and Tapian, or even established characters like Bulma and Videl.
This totally does not feel like a Dragon Ball movie at all, and I love it. I'm totally down for it.
You had brought up, like, you watch movie 12 a lot. I think this movie is really good, but it's when you want that hit of Dragon Ball, this isn't going to be the one you turn to because it is so different. Yes. You will do something like a movie 12 or a movie 8 or something like that.
Exactly.
But dang, man, this movie's great. Tapian, where we leave off, Tapian talks with Bulma late at night to like disclose where he came from and what went on and everything. Of like, all right,
more exposition.
Back on my planet, there's a totem that like absorbed evil energy, and these evil wizards like overtook it and infused it with more, and it brought it to life, and now it's this horrible phantasm.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, sure, why not? Who cares? It's fine.
Monster is revived or created, whatever.
Yep. My priest took him down and cut him in half, and then he sealed each half inside me and my little brother, and we got music boxes, and we just kind of like, this is going to be our lives where we're going to seal the monster. Yeah. And so Bulma's like, well, I still have that broken music box. I can try and remake a music box. Because
just like my father recreated Goku's space pod from the broken space pod, little...
Runs in the family.
Exactly.
And I think it's at this point, or it might have been earlier, where we learned that Tapion hasn't been sleeping since he woke up because that is when the monster comes out. So he's just been awake for days.
Seems crazy, right? Like, I mean, I know probably not a human that needs sleep like that, but still, anyway, everyone needs sleep, and you can tell he's tired. So obviously, but still, that's crazy.
Yeah. So thankfully, Bulma's there, makes a really sweet bedroom for him, and everything's gonna be good until fucking Hoy shows back up, and he's gotten Hildegarn stronger, and the connection between his lower body and his upper half has strengthened, so now the music box room that Bulma made isn't strong enough to contain him, and then oops, the monster's out, and all hell breaks loose.
Because at first I thought that Bulma just messed up making it, but it's not that, it's that the connection was stronger with the lower half, like they mentioned that in the movie, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's just a shame that it didn't work that well for Tapion to sleep a little longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we gotta have some conflict in this movie. We can't just have it solve and no fighting.
Just give him a day, where everything is like, oh, maybe things will be okay, and then hit him with the, you thought wrong.
That would have been good. I would have liked that. Mm-hmm. So now the monster is complete and full, and all of the other people have, like, the fighters have shown up in their
geese. We skipped over the part where, like, when the monster's running amok, it's like tail pops out tentacles and shit and starts killing off humans in the most, like, gruesome way. Like, what is this? This is, it's awesomely disgusting.
It's horrific and gross. Just the tail opens up and just the inside of it is just so disgusting.
It's all pink
looking.
And everything too, so it's just like, ugh.
Little spaghetti tentacles.
Going right into people's foreheads and shit. Ugh.
Yeah, I skipped over that part because I didn't want to talk about it because it's gross.
Sorry, it's in my mind now forever. It's like his tentacles went into my head.
Oh no, man, you're gonna have a rough night of sleep tonight.
I am.
The monster's gonna come out.
No.
So then we've got some fights and things.
Some more classic Dragon Ball Z fights, but just drawn beautifully. And I just loved the whole scene where Goku, Goten, and Gohan like power up and like transform.
Yep, fly in, do their shit.
It's like it reminds me of the shot in, I think it was Battle of Gods, where they do it and.
Yeah.
In the trailer, they couldn't decide if Gohan was going to go Super Saiyan or not, and I think they ended up not, but his hair still is drawn as though it was going to have a color change.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. It's good. It's just kind of like them fighting, but of course it's ineffective because he's a weird ghost phantasm thing.
That's the thing I hated the most about this monster character is that whole gimmick. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it makes sense, but it's a really weak weakness, I guess. Like, you could just make the monster like unbelievably strong, and the fighters aren't really doing much damage to him, and you need to find a different way or whatever. But yeah,
having it be like, oh, he disappears and reappears somewhere else. He's just so fast and so strong.
We have to hit him when he's solid is basically the solution, which is like, duh.
It reminds me of Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans, which is basically like, oh no, Tullus and Frieza is back. Oh god, we can't beat him. And then they're like, but they're not real. Oh yeah, and then they win. Like, why?
Yeah. That's the worst. Oh my god!
We just remind ourselves that this is a cartoon for Japanese 8-year-olds.
But everything before this was written so well. They couldn't think of a better written concept for the monster to be defeated. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest weakness. Well, one of two weaknesses.
Yeah,
we've got this weird monster ghost thing that they need to wait until it's solid. We have some good fights. We've got Goten and Trunks fusing because that's the cool thing to do, and also Gotenks is fucking sick.
Yeah, it's awesome. And they had like the best moment with you and Vegeta.
Oh god, yeah, that's so good. We have Vegeta showing up. He's upset. He's like, "You just come and break up a man's house?
Yeah,
how dare you?" Tries to fight him off. We're getting thrown into an office building, and then Hildegarn, billows a whole bunch of flame at him, and just like, it's like probably my top 5 2 seconds of this anime is Vegeta turning and looking at the other humans in this building and then making a force field to protect them all.
It says so much about the character and the development of him, and just, oh my god, can you imagine Vegeta from Saiyan Saga doing that? No, like that's not. He didn't care if people like that died for whatever. Running amok and shit.
Movie 8, movie 9, just the last times he showed up. No, never.
Even then too. Yeah. But just in this movie, no, he looks to the side. He's like, oh shit, humans, I gotta protect them, even if it costs me my life. Basically, it's so good.
And then we have that shot a little bit later of like when the monster's like super powered. We have him like standing at the edge of the building and like the office workers like helping him up and like throwing him over their shoulder. Like, oh man, this is the world coming together. Vegeta's here. Oh.
Doesn't that seem so weird to look at? Like, it's like, whoa, but it makes the world like a lot more grounded. It's like, yes, this would happen. This is awesome. And Vegeta's finally not the stubborn asshole he usually always is.
Exactly.
Because when when Trunks tries helping him up in like movie 9 with BoJack, he like fucking gut punches him and is like, "Get off me! I don't need your help," or whatever, you know. Or like every movie before this, he's like that. But listen, I mean, well, you could put the argument that he was so badly damaged that he really can't fight off the humans to leave me alone or whatever. But I think at that point, I think his character has developed enough where he's just like, no, this is fine.
Yeah, this is a post-Boo arc Vegeta, so he has had his character development.
Which is what I hate the most about Super and how they just kind of reverted all that again. But whatever, that's for another.
Right, we'll get there.
Yeah,
but yeah, so then Tapion eventually does manage to seal the entire monster inside of him. To which point,
that's a great moment too.
He comes over to Trunks, pulls his sword out, and hands it to him. You need to kill me while he's in me right now, otherwise he's gonna get out, and we're all fucked.
Well, very important. Trunks goes to him, like in like a you did it kind of thing. Because I think Tapion would have given anyone the sword, but it's just so heart wrenching that it's like Trunks that comes up to him first. He's like, I need someone. You're here, Trunks. I need you to just kill me.
And like, I know that I'm a big brother to you now, but this is what you have to do
to save the world, and I'm fine with this. Like he has like a genuine smile on his face, like as he looks down, as like about to get like sliced in half by Trunks.
And yeah, Trunks takes the sword and he lifts it, but he hesitates for just long enough for the monster to get back out.
Right.
So
but damn, what a moment, man. That's
right.
Jesus,
man, good stuff. But yeah, oops, the monster's back out. So Trunks though is still all in on this. He cuts the thing's tail off. He is.
I think that was supposed to be a moment that was supposed to hit a little stronger, because it's a moment of like Trunks is so pissed off that you've reached this point to mess with his big brother, like to make him want to like almost be killed by him, that it's, I don't know, you know what I mean? It felt like it should have hit a little harder.
I think it would have.
Instead, it was more of like a flashback, like, oh, remember Future Trunks does this to Frieza, this exact shot, remember that?
Same pose, same everything.
Yeah. I
think it would have hit more if it continued, but it gets cut off by Goku being like, nope, you can't do this. Leave him to me. I got it. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I wish like maybe Goku was fighting him and then Hurrigarn got the best of Goku for a moment, but then before Trunks comes in and like slices it off and like distracts him, you know?
Yeah,
kind of maybe like Yajirobe style when he cuts off Vegeta's tail.
Right.
Like that would have been an even better connection, because that's your actual father, as opposed to this future Trunks who has no connection with you besides being yourself from a different future. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would have been good if it was Hildegard in the midst of attacking Goku is when Trunks slices the tail and Goku's like, wait, he was solid? Like, oh, he's attacking me.
Yes, even that too. You're right. Or like that could have been the moment that Goku's like, oh, he's solid now. Let me attack now, and then do his finishing attack.
Right.
Either of those two would have worked better. And then Goku's just like, stop, Trunks. I know you actually hit him, but I need to do this, because if I can't do it, who will?
Who will?
So
and Goku's
stupid.
Like tanking these hits now, and he's just like smiling, like, yeah, whatever.
Like
he's
Super Saiyan 3. I mean, I guess that's supposed to be.
He was Super Saiyan 3, and he was still getting his ass beat.
No, I don't think he was he? He was tanking him.
Huh. Well, still Gotenks was, and it's like, well, he's stronger than you. Same thing for Gohan, so like...
That's because they needed to make Goku the strongest. That's who, if he can't do it, who will kind of shit.
Exactly. He does bust out the sickest Toei punch of all time, though.
Yeah, that's the finally most creative Toei punch ever, that silhouette of a dragon, and it's just so cool looking, but...
That, like, wraps around Hildegard as it's exploding him. Yeah, it's so cool looking.
But it feels like they had that image in their heads, like, okay, like, we need to put this finishing blow in the movie.
Yeah.
And then we need to tie it in with the title of the movie that we created with before the movie was created and combine them. But it just didn't do it for me, man. Like the last 2 minutes are just disappointing to me.
Yep, I will. Yeah, that whole last like couple of minutes are just bad
because everything else hits so well, and like you can see the writing is there, and they had the skills, but they gave up at the very end because they needed to wrap it up in a way that they agreed upon from the beginning.
I wonder if they were married to this title, so they had to have that happen.
They were. I can guarantee you that they... Well, I'm not going to guarantee you, but I'm pretty sure that's what it feels like.
Also, time had part of the deal. Like, this was only 12 episodes since our last movie, and, like, it's, different people working on it, whatever. But,
But I'm sure...
Still...
When people create movies, they don't like start drawing from the beginning scene to the last scene. No. Jumping all the way around. So it's not like this is the last thing. But
you know what I mean? If they could have had some more time, workshopping the ending and the writing stage. Like, all right, here's how we're gonna do this.
I think they just got lazy.
Yeah,
or maybe they thought it was a good idea and it just didn't resonate.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure 8-year-olds in Japan were like, "This is the fucking coolest thing ever."
True. Very true. Like all that mattered was that Toei punch. So it's all that.
Yeah. as long as that payoff was there. And then the monster's gone. And Bulma, being the smart gal she is, built another time machine. She's like, there, now you can go back 1,000 years.
It looks just like the one my future self made.
Exactly. And also later on in Super, I don't know how to make one of these.
Oh my god,
right
that's right.
But Tapian's gonna go back to his own time. He leaves his sword to Trunks, and Trunks waves goodbye.
Yeah.
As the credits roll, and future Trunks takes down Frieza.
Somehow
hinting that this is the same Trunks or the same sword, which it's not.
My reaction as like a 13-year-old watching this, like, that's how he got his sword. That's so cool. Wait, no, that doesn't work out. www.daizenchuex.com/forums. This doesn't make sense, guys.
Somebody clear this up. This is stupid.
Post, retweet. Yeah, it's
yeah. I think, I was young and I did not know of Kanzenshu, but I think I tried to like headcanon rationalize it. Like, okay, well, like an event of Hoi and showing up happened in Trunks' timeline.
It could have happened. There's a lot of time we don't see in that.
And then Tapian seals Hildegard inside himself and gives Trunks a sword, says, you have to kill me to keep it in. And this Trunks, who has seen hell with the androids, is like, yeah, okay, and then murders him.
I understand, and then just murders him. Oh, I guess like kind of like how he fights Dabra in the future where Majin Buu still exists in like Super, you know? Like, it's like, it's just a different like take, but the same events still occur.
Exactly.
I don't know. I really like the idea that Trunks' sword is not special in his future. Like, it's just
agree. Especially because it breaks multiple times.
Yeah, like every human just has a weapon because the androids are a threat, and that's just people have the hope of like, oh, this weapon can protect me, even though it's useless against androids unless they're playing with them, which is possible. They're just messing with humans. So, but yeah, the fact that they did that, I told you they should have Tapian should have given Trunks the ocarina if it didn't break. They should have given him the ocarina. Cool. That'd have been so cool.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be iconic, and they can't just show future Trunks playing an ocarina.
Yeah.
They don't got that footage.
Man. But Tapian's character design was so cool, though, man.
God. Top fucking notch. Like, very Chrono Trigger, very...
Yeah, a lot of this
Ocarina of Time, even though Ocarina of Time is not out yet when this movie came out.
Oh, was it not? I totally thought this was, like, referencing that.
No, Ocarina of Time is 98, at least in America, so this was 95, so...
Oh, Nintendo, you got some explaining to do then.
You guys watch this sick Dragon Ball movie? We're like, hey, good idea.
They probably did. Yeah.
Somebody did.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about how we felt about this movie in general. I know that we've said a lot and we've kind of played our cards, but
but to reiterate, this movie is fantastic. The writing of it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball, which I wholeheartedly welcome. You know what I mean?
Right. Something new, something different, something we haven't seen before, which is great.
This movie... It feels like the only movie out of all the movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it actually has, an actual plot that it's trying to follow. It's exploring character, it's exploring themes.
It's not just a retelling of previous villains. It's not just there's no system. Well, there's still kind of the systematic, like here's a villain, defeat villain kind of thing. But it just feels more natural and just more well thought out with characters and relationships growing from it. And not a lot of Goku either, which is kind of cool.
Right, not a lot of Goku. It's mostly Tapian, Trunks, and Bulma.
Yeah.
So it
seems
good.
like the writers wanted to tell a story, but then they're like, oh, we got to shoehorn in Goku here at the end.
Yep, we got to do the fan servicey end of Goku wins the day.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it really is.
That title, man. That's just not that's not the movie that the people wanted to make. I really think they were tied down to that title. Like some executives, like you got to use this title, so you got to make the ending like this. Because everything leading up to that moment does not agree with that title. You know what I mean? This is a Trunks movie.
Goku's barely in it until like the fight at the end. Like
just to deliver the final punch. To be like oh my god, I figured it out. We just gotta hit him when he's attacking, when he's solid.
Right.
Like, all right.
Despite the ho-hum ending, everything about this movie is great. And if you haven't seen it, man, take your time to watch it because it is it is a treat.
I think the way we did it was like, I believe a lot of people do it, is that they don't watch this movie that often. This is not their go-to movie, which is good. You shouldn't watch this movie like a bunch of times in a row because then you'll find the problems with it. But once in a while, you're like, oh yeah, this movie is freaking fantastic. And what a send-off to the movies. Like, this is it for another, 13 or so years until we get another movie. Like, this is the last movie that they created in that time era. And it was great.
The next one would have been Path to Power, which was just, a retelling. It's like, whatever, an anniversary special.
Which is nice to look at, but this is the final Dragon Ball Z movie, and it's everything I would have wanted.
A great send-off. Wonderful to have. I'm so glad that this movie exists. But yeah, that's what we had to say. And I think that we're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to hear what you guys had to say.
Sounds
you ready
good.
for that, Doug?
Hell yes.
Let's do it. And welcome back. We're here to hear what you guys had to say about Dragon Ball Z Movie 13, and we've got a good turnout, I would say. Yeah, man. I'm excited to hear what everybody else has to say about this movie that we really dug. Michael at Metallics MT says, this is a favorite of mine from the pre-Battle of Gods movies. It has an actual story with themes and a main character who isn't the usual Saiyan. In fact, I'd say that it would make a good movie on its own, removed from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like, I think I was watching it as I'm watching it with you, I'm saying, oh, this is like my new favorite movie. This movie is like way better than I remember it being.
Yeah, it's because it tried something new and it decided to experiment with a new story and, you know, using characters that we are familiar with, but not the ones that usually show up.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like they had a story and they're like, well, how can we use use Dragon Ball characters for something like this?
Yeah,
and they picked the right ones.
You're right. Yeah. And it also feels like the people who made the Broly movie were like onto something and then made this movie.
Yeah.
Because the first Broly movie is like in the same vein where it feels like the writers were really trying to do something, but they just couldn't hash it out. But they had a good idea in the chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because movie 8 had a lot of mystery elements going on to it too, and this one did for a long time as well, and I think that they nailed it well. They didn't overstuff it with other things of like, oh, also there's slaves.
Yeah.
And there's too many characters because Roshi and Oolong and Krillin are here. They're all funny.
I don't think movie 8 had a fight scene in the first 12 minutes like you said the others do either, did it? I don't recall a fight scene. Like until the Broly charges into Goku's bedroom.
Right.
While Roshi is chomping down on Oolong's toes.
Oh yeah, the foot stuff that everybody knows and loves. Skefferton Licorice at Living Zombie 00 says, my favorite of all the Dragon Ball films. Tapion is such an interesting character in that he's more emotional than your Goku or your Vegeta. His friendship with Trunks really carries the film, and his fight in his Will versus Hildegarn rather than a punch, which is awesome. I will say that Trunks' sword being Tapion's makes no sense, though. Mm-hmm. Did the androids kill Hildegarn in the future timeline? Is Hildegarn out there in the dark future?
I want to see that movie, yeah.
These are great questions.
Let's expand that. Let's bring that new villain back into Super, please.
Toei would just be like, I don't know, didn't you watch the movie? Yeah, it's the same thing.
But as they say, like, Tapion is like way more emotional, like, and it's justified. Like, they gave him such a great story. Simple story, but still great enough, and he plays it so well. Like, I have this great burden within me, and that's why.
And also, you know, I'm away from home. It's been 1,000 years. Yeah. My little brother is probably dead.
I have no connection to this world at all. This is bullshit. And then here comes this child who doesn't know me, but is showing me the kindness that I haven't seen in so long.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good.
Jake Pay at JakePay16 says, great movie with some good story and great action, especially that ending attack. Dragon Fist is hands down my favorite technique in the show, and for once it's something Goku created. Plus, Tapion's story is interesting and creative to watch to be unraveled.
Yeah. I love that move, man. It's just so creative, and I kind of wish we found out how he created it, but I guess, I don't know. It just seems random.
Instead of just pulling it out of nowhere.
Yeah, it does seem kind of out of nowhere, but it still looks awesome.
Right. I don't know what we would have done if, like, this story, like, interrupted him, like, training for something, like, on his own and, like, trying something.
That would have made the pacing so bad. Because it really was the Trunks movie, so it wouldn't really make sense. But
right.
I'm sure that's, like I said, that's one thing they were kind of married to in the beginning. They knew that this move was going to be the move, the huge dragon. Yep. It does feel like a ending of Dragon Ball type move. So, unfortunately. But it does look awesome.
Absolutely. And they bring it back a couple more times because he uses it on 17.
Super 17.
And then also on one of the Shadow Dragons, the last one, I believe.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
I believe so.
It's been a while since I've seen GT.
Right. It's been like 10 years. I should do a rewatch.
Maybe a rewatch with a re-podcast?
Ooh. Well, I'll be ready to talk about Dragon Ball soon because I've only got 8 episodes left to go. So,
are you serious? You're already almost done with it?
Yeah, Goku's fighting Piccolo Jr. right now.
Wow, dude, that's awesome that you've gotten so far so quickly.
3 episodes of their fight, and then the 5 episodes at the end of like finding the wedding dress and stuff like that.
The great saga that everyone remembers.
I don't, because I've never seen it, so we'll see.
You'll see dolphins. Mark my words.
Oh, sweet! I got dolphins to look forward to. Tanuki Joe at Tanuki Kuribo says, "Hey Joe, I really like the story of this one. Depends on who you ask, but people seem to either love it or hate it. I don't know who I would ask to say that hates this movie. No, but dude, I don't want to be friends with them.
If you asked me about this movie yesterday, even 3 hours ago before we watched it, like I think even in the previous podcast when we mentioned this movie, I'm like not a big fan of it. I'm like, yeah, I remember it being kind of like so and." Big monster, blah, blah, blah. The big monster always like stuck in my head as a horrible idea, which it still is. But everything before that and like everything surrounding it is so good, man. Like this is my like new favorite movie.
This is like your version of me and Dragon Ball Movie 3, where I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. And then by the end of it, I'm like, this is my favorite one of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the new Broly movie tops it still, but it's like the Broly movie and then this movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm so excited to see where things are going to go. It's been a while since I've seen Battle of Gods, so I'm really excited to see that again.
Same.
So, before you die, you see the Ming at Nate Ming. Says, I saw this in the theater as a kid. It was the first time I'd seen a new Dragon Ball movie. On base, theaters played old ones occasionally, and holy crap, it was a spiritual experience. So Nate here was, on a military base where they would play old movies in the theater. So
right, that's pretty cool.
Had seen this there. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Especially this movie, because this movie's so good and it's a movie,
Yeah, totally. And just being there with like a lot of other fans watching it together in the same room would have been amazing too.
Oh man, so good. The Jaunted Mansion at Magic Box 67. God, that's right, it's October. This is so great. Although it premiered only months after the previous film, its slower pace, lack of opening theme, and somber music, Kikuchi's final Dragon Ball score, make me feel like it was made during a completely different era. I'm not a big fan of Tapion, but do enjoy the arc he provides for Trunks.
Yeah,
I get that.
I feel like this movie, they did the previous one, movie 12 with the fusion, like by the numbers kind of, like they kind of like knew what they were doing. It's kind of easy to kind of make that movie and then focus the rest of their time on this movie to make it the final send-off and just with a great story. Kind of like how, wasn't it like what are the other 2 movies that were like back-to-back? I think, was it the Broly movies that were back-to-back?
So it would have been, 11 and 10 were like 3 months apart.
I forget which, and it was reversed where they focused more time on 10 and then less time on 11 and just kind of threw that one in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the point that he makes that Trunks gets a really interesting character arc in this movie because Trunks isn't really explored, at least young Trunks, in Dragon Ball or the anime.
Very quickly becomes Trunks and Goten.
Yep, exactly. They are a pair, and that is how they will live and die together.
Yeah, and to give him like a big brother, essentially. And I think it works better in Japanese is because Oni-chan is just more said casually to anyone of who's not your brother. If you would say that in English, it sounds really weird to call someone who's not your brother your big brother.
Yeah, right. It would have been, I can't remember if there is a mention at all, but like, because Goten has a big brother, and Trunks has never had anything like that before, so he's always seeing Goten, who's got a big brother, and like their dynamic, and he wants that with now since he has this chance with Tapion.
They don't really spoon feed that to you in this movie either. You just kind of make that assumption that he's seen Goten with a brother his entire life, and he kind of wishes he had something like that. Well, I'm sure a lot of kids, a lot of only childs kind of wish they had a sibling of some sort, and they kind of like attach to someone who looks cool. And Tapion is kind of, in a sense, it kind of resembles Future Trunks a lot. So there's that kind of connection too.
Yeah. Man, so good.
It's really good.
And then we have Omega Rockman, who says, they actually tried to tell a more involved story here with Tapion and Trunks, which is great. The only real problem is Goku getting the win when it really wasn't his movie. I like seeing Goku beat up bad guys, but here it really doesn't fit with the story they're telling. I also find it funny that this one fit fine on the timeline as an After Boo story until Super made Bulma unable to make the time machine on the fly.
Yep, there it is. Saying exactly what we were saying the entire movie. Yeah, we're right there with you, man. That's 100%.
Yeah. I mean, Goku, stay out of this. This isn't your thing. I know that he wasn't a big deal in movies 10 or 11, so we kind of miss him. But he was a lot in 12. He had his time.
Yeah. I mean, I just imagine this. If near the end of the movie, like we said, how Trunks gives a little distracting slice. Just let's pretend Trunks in this movie is Vegeta in the Cell Saga with Gohan against Cell with the Kamehameha. Like, yeah, it's still Goku that's going to give the final blow, but it's because of Trunks that he does it.
Right. Yeah.
That would have been way cooler. And if we just see Goku like figuring it out as Trunks is like doing his best to ward off the monster. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Trunks can't really do it. He's giving his all, but he just can't do it. I have to do it. Oh my god, that's way better than like Goku just saying, Trunks, no, stop. I have to do it. My name's on the top list, so I have to be the one that kills him.
How cool would it have been if they were like fighting back to back, like flying through this giant monster, Trunks slashing stuff up while Goku's blasting shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that would be a weird team up, but I would be so there for it.
I think that is a little more fan service. I really do like the idea of it just being Trunks and everyone out is like kind of down for the count.
Oh no, of course. But if we had to have Goku as part of it, it'd have been cool if there was like a team up.
No, but I just like Goku just sitting back. Not sitting back, but just like kind of catching his breath and like thinking, how do I defeat this guy? How do I defeat this guy? As you show in the distance, Trunks fighting, holding on by himself, but not really being able to. But then him like catching like, oh, Trunks is actually able to hit him when he's becoming solid. Trunks is just not strong enough to finish him off, give him the final blow. But I do. But I am able to. That would have been way cooler, man. Oh, man, I want to see that now.
It's nice that there's only like really one complaint we can give this movie, and otherwise it's great.
God, man, this movie's fantastic, man.
Well, now that you're on the high of loving this movie, I'm going to take you back down with some trivia.
Please. Reel me back to reality.
Here we go. Question number 1. Tapien's Seiyu, or voice actor, is Hiro Yuki. What other characters in Z did Yuki lend his voice to?
I have no idea. At the beginning of this, you said you looked up on the Wikipedia what the voice actor was, and it was what's the name of Krillin and Luffy's voice actress? I forget.
Mayumi Tanaka, and that was for Minoshia. But
for Minoshia. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, definitely
not. This one I'm right on. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, like at certain points in the movie, I'm like, that sounds like future Trunks. Like that sounds way too similar, but then different times it doesn't sound like him. So I'm like, it's not the same guy.
Mm-hmm. I will say, it is, of course is not Takashi Kusao.
Yeah, definitely not him, but they were definitely going for that vibe, and they kind of nailed it. But no, I have no idea. I have no idea. Tell me.
He plays Teenage Dende. He also played Sharpener.
Oh, really?
And Killa being the black dude.
Oh, in the tournament?
At the final tournament, yes.
Yeah. A Teenage Dende. I'm like, when is he a teenager for like 2 episodes in the end of Z, and that's it?
Right.
He reverts back to child size. Travel size.
Travel size. Easy to take with you on a plane.
Travel size god.
Next question. There is a statue of Tapien in another Toriyama designed anime. What anime series is it?
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? No way. That's pretty cool.
Well, this is taken, I will let you know, from dragonball.fandom.com, the wiki, because that's all I can go on.
If there's a picture, then that's proof enough that we need.
I don't have a photo.
Oh, really? They just say it is? I'm just going to guess like a Dragon Quest anime, because he just seems like a Dragon Quest character.
Ooh, it's not Dragon Quest.
What is it?
It's Blue Dragon.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't watch it, but I remember being like, that looks a lot like Dragon Ball Z. I wonder what that is.
Right.
But there's a statue of him in there?
Apparently.
You say that with no evidence. All right, man.
I don't. I'm just, again, going by this, which also did lie to me about Minoshia. So let me take a look in their gallery. Do they have a photo?
I highly doubt
of said thing. They super do not.
Just my brother Nintendo told me that there was a connection, so I believe him.
Yeah, I believe him. Tell me if it's wrong. That's, people out there, you do the research. I'll just take what you got.
Got another trivia question for me, or that's it?
Nope, because I did have 3, but I had to delete one because it was wrong.
Well, I totally thought you were going to ask me the question about like where Hirudegarn's name came from or whatever.
Oh gosh,
you know that one, right?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? I'm pretty sure. I didn't research it, but I'm pretty sure it came from, as they're coming up with a name, they're like, we need to think of a name for this new monster, and then someone just let out like a random word, like just random noises. It's like that. Yeah. We're gonna use that. It's kind of like an onomatopoeia of sorts that just one person said out loud, and it's like a dumb name. It's like, yes, let's use that.
Yeah. See, here in the trivia on the Dragon Ball Wiki, they do point that out. Should I read what it is?
More articulate than I
am.
Have
you have it pretty much down pat.
I remember hearing it from Mike from one of his, I think 10 things you don't know about Dragon Ball.
Ah, well, they have this is actually cited, so let's see what their citation was. It's Daizenshu 6, so I think we can believe this. The character's name comes from the movie's co-producer, Seiichi Hirota, who did not like the original design of Hildegard. After he demanded that they redesign the character, his jaw dropped when he saw the new design. The sound effect for jaw dropping in Japan is "gan," so they named the character Hiruta Gan.
Oh.
Seiichi Hirota.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's what it was. I knew it was something like a random noise.
Yep, you got it, man. You have a great memory. Really good for trivia.
Sometimes.
Unfortunately, I just don't ask the right questions.
That's like the only one trivia I knew for all 13 movies. I'm just waiting for that. Right. It never came.
You're sitting on that egg for all these movies.
I didn't even know it correctly. I just knew kind of what it was.
You had it 90% of the way.
Thanks, man.
But now this show is 90% of the way. Oh, nope, it's 100. It's done.
I was going to say, yeah. I don't think you have anything more for us.
I don't. Other than I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody for tweeting their thoughts. We love interacting with you and love keeping tabs on what you have to say and think about Dragon Ball. It's great. If you want to tweet at us and you haven't yet, tweet at us at WeGotAPod. If you want to email us at WeGotAPod@gmail.com. Doug, you reading the super manga yet?
Oh, yeah, I looked at the covers.
Oh, that's a start.
I've seen all the spoilers of a bunch of eyebrows, or lack of.
There's that one of all of them in Galaxy Patrol officer uniforms.
Yeah, that one's
really
cool.
Great.
I like the one where they're at a diner, that cover, where Bulma and Videl are the waitresses.
Man, that's good stuff.
That is good stuff. Oh, Bulma and Videl. End the episode before I get more heated.
Okay, I will. Before we have a problem and I gotta bust out the
bug spray, just the repellent. Just get them off me.
I was gonna say fire hydrant, but no, it's the fire extinguisher.
Anything.
That's what it is.
I can't handle how hot they are in this movie, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, I know that you're not reading the super manga, but I held down my end of the bargain for the bargain we never actually made.
We never made the bargain. You made it yourself. I don't remember ever saying.
I own up to it.
Roll back the tapes. There's never in my did I say that.
Watching Dragon Ball, and Goku is right now facing Piccolo Jr. Like I said, I've only got 8 episodes to go. So
the good shit.
The good shit. Thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use his track Kakarot theme hip hop /trap remix. You can find it and other great tracks by Rifti on his SoundCloud. It has been a trip. I finally picked up the DLC to Kakarot, and then when I come into the main title theme, I'm like, hey, that's our podcast sound.
Completely disassociate from your own podcast. That's so funny.
It's now my thing. I own this.
I want to get back to the video game, man, just for the cutscenes alone, but I just can't. Maybe one day.
One day. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing it. I'm Super Saiyan God now, so
congrats.
Watch out. Thanks to our sponsors. Doug, you got anything you want to plug?
Jabaz Doug on all social media.
Hell yeah. Check that fool out. I'm at Saber_Breaker, posting some art and stuff. I've been working on some things. I'm trying to mimic old school Masaki Sato, who did a lot of really great stuff in late Dragon Ball, early Z. Like when Goku arrives to fight Nappa. That's the look.
That would look cool in your style.
So I'm working on it, and I want it to look like that because it's great. It's my favorite. That's it. That's our show. Please subscribe, tell your friends, post a review. It super helps us out, and we appreciate it. And you guys take care and get vaccinated while you're at it.
All right. See you guys.
Later.